Hey folks, this is Chelsea at Scenic Landscapes, and we're back for another Tuesday's Tips and Tricks. Now this week we're going to be talking about how to plant trees and shrubs. Part of the reason why we're doing this video today is because we're having a sale this week, that's right, on trees and shrubs. It's our Independence Day sale. Now we're not open on the 4th of July, but that's why we've elongated the sale until next weekend on the 11th. That'll be the last day of the sale. It's going to be 15% off all trees and shrubs and 30% off all the trees and shrubs that have just been here a while and they're ready to go home with you and be put in the ground. So with that being said, let's go and check out how they're doing with the planting over here.
Welcome to Scenic Landscapes. I'm Mark Moore, owner of Scenic Landscapes. This is Nathaniel.
We're going to show you guys how to plant some shrubs, and kind of what that process looks like. Hopefully that helps you, especially during the summer heat, know how to get things in the ground and have success with them.
We kind of had a little bit of a plan here. In landscaping, you need to have a plan. And so we've built this water garden years ago, and we put a lot of temporary plantings in here. Like we planted banana trees and we planted different things through the years. But now we're going to start developing this area, and this is an area that gets a lot of shade, even though we're actually standing in the sun a little bit. But it's what we call an understory planting. This large elm tree up above, and in this particular place we're planting a plant that's called a Fathergia, or did we say
Blue Shadows Fathergia or Fathergia, however you prefer to say it.
And well, the young guy's digging the hole. This old guy's going to get the tag and read some information to you.
When you're digging a hole for any tree or shrub, especially if we're talking about container plants, you want to go with something that is about twice the diameter of the container and about the same depth, or even a little bit shallower, and mound up around the base when you plant.
Years ago, we actually produced a little catalog about planting, and I always said that the hole needs to be half again as wide as the root ball of root mass is. So I think that's probably what he just said. But we're digging in fairly sandy soil here, and we're going to add some ingredients to this hole along with this plant. I've planted so many plants in my lifetime that I don't even think about the explanation that goes with it. You just dig the hole, plant it, water it, and it grows. So old timers, maybe we get away with that. So what's next, Nathaniel? You got a decent hole?
Yeah.
I always like to see the sides straight up and down. Straight up and down, and maybe jagged, so that the roots can penetrate the sides better.
Do you want to talk about the bush?
About the what?
About the plant?
The plant. Yes. Nathaniel's going to take it out of the pot and show you how you prepare the roots for the hole.
So you'll turn it upside down, don't just yank it out, and gently pull it out. If it doesn't come right away, there may be loose soil around there. If it doesn't come right away, then squeeze the pot and gently pull it out so you don't break any roots.
This Fathergia, a lot of times some of these plants are extremely root bound. This one does not look so extremely root bound. It's quite loose, really. But it is hot weather. We're still loosening it up a little bit. This plant is supposed to be around 5 to 6 foot tall in time and about 4 to 5 foot wide. So where we're planting it, it has plenty of room to grow, and we don't want anybody making squares or circles out of our plants. We're going to let it grow naturally, and when we prune it, we'll try to keep the natural shape to it.
So when you put it in the hole, one of the first things you'll do once you've got it out of the pot is apply this product called Mike. It's a beneficial fungus that grows on the roots of the plants, and it enables the roots to absorb more nutrients and minerals that promote fibrous root growth. And the fibrous root growth is important because that's what supports the foliage and the growth of the plant. because it absorbs the water and nutrients.
This plant is a zone 5, cold hardy, 10 below 0. So we're not worried about this plant surviving our weather here. But one of the things that I've always thought of the Fafagia is that it needs a little bit more acidic conditions, a little bit lower pH. So, and one of the things people need to remember on planting, and what Nathaniel's getting ready to do is put water in the hole. And in the old days, this was called mudding it in, where you fill the hole full of water, you put the plant in there, and then you put the dirt back around it and the compost and the things that you're going to mix in there. Some people think that's completely unnecessary. I'm still a believer in it, and I still do it, especially on trees. But it fills it up, you put the plant ball in there, it absorbs it up like a sponge, and the existing soil around is getting moisture. And oh, the other thing is the depth of this plant. People need to know that when we're planting in sandy soil, so you could probably get away with planting a little bit deeper. And sometimes in heavy soils, it may need to be up a little bit so you're not holding the moisture so much that it just sits in water all the time. So we have no problem with drainage out here. It just drains away. So Nathaniel's going to take some compost here.
Now, do you think this is probably the best way to do this in the heat of the summer, since we're in July?
Most containerized plants are in a very little transplant shock because we're just dealing with something that's grown in a container. The roots are there. We're really not damaging any roots. Although Nathaniel did rough that up pretty good. But we could take a later video to see that the plant is doing very well. So you kind of mix that all up.
But during the heat of the summer, I think the old way of mudding it in probably is going to help you have better success. Because when you're in July or August and you're planting a tree or shrub, it's hot. It doesn't usually, on an average summer, rain a lot here in the summertime. And so giving it that really good soak to begin with is going to give you a great start for most shrubs and trees.
One thing you don't want to do, I think, is when you're mounting the dirt back around the plant, is to not mount it up onto the trunk. If you mount it out here by the drip line or further, that's fine. But if you put a whole bunch of dirt up around the trunk, most plants that maybe almost a death sentence to do that, I think. But a lot of times people wonder, well, why come my plant's not doing anything? Or maybe they've got planted too deep. Maybe they just yanked that out of the pot and tore the roots when they pulled it out. There's a lot of different things that can go wrong with planting. So this has gone pretty well so far. We haven't damaged anything. So now we're going to dress this back up with the mulch.
And just like you don't want to pile the soil up against the trunk of the tree or the shrub, you don't want to pile the mulch real thick right against the trunk either, because it can cause the same problem.
Let that plant breathe. Give them some space.
And it looks kind of humped up here now, but that's okay. Over the season, as we get rains and water it in, a lot of that humped up look of the ground will settle, and it won't look weird anymore.
Do you want to talk about the root stimulator now?
So we're going to put some root stimulator on it. We did the mite. The mite is not a fertilizer. We talked about in our fertilizer video last week, but it is a beneficial organism that grows on the roots of the plants and promotes the root growth, which on a new plant, that's what you want. Don't worry about the top. The top will figure itself out later. So we're going to pour some of this in the bucket. And you know, like Mark said, we've been doing this so long, we just kind of eyeball it, but you should probably follow the directions on the label if it's your first time.
Well, I've been known to just take the bottle of root stimulator and just dump it around there and then put the water in there. But this is probably a much better, more even way to distribute the root stimulator in there.
Now are you going around the drip line or are you just pouring it right in there?
I'm just pouring it right in where the soil, the root ball is. Right now there's no roots out here to take it in, so I poured right around where the roots are. And then what I will also do, even though we mudded this in, I will water it in again. So that'll encourage that root stimulator to go down in deeper. And if we mixed it a little bit too strong, now it's not so strong, we're not going to burn the roots. Okay. That's the basics of how you plant a tree or shrub. It's kind of the same regardless of the time of year. The big difference now is making sure that you monitor the watering through the heat. Go out and actually physically check, stick your finger down in there. If it's dry to your second knuckle, it's ready for a drink. If it's still moist, you can let it be for a while.
Thank you folks for joining us for Tuesday's Tips and Tricks. We'll catch you again next week.